right time to do it at all.
Okay, Stephen Kinnock. Now, of course, the Prime Minister's ability to govern is already rather damaged by the fact the DUP, the party that is shoring up her minority government, is pulling support. Possibility they may even vote against the finance bill as part of the budget. She'll then be in office but not in power, in that famous phrase. Do you think that she is going to face, I know obviously with the Labour Party you can't put in a letter of no confidence, I'm sure you would if you could. Do you think that she is going to possibly face that vote? Will she pass that vote? And even if she does, will she manage to survive if her bill, her plan for a meaningful vote on the Brexit deal, if that doesn't get passed by the Commons, can she survive that?
I mean, I think one of the lessons of politics over the last few years is making predictions is a mug's game.
Yes.
So, I mean, we can all sort of speculate. I think that fundamentally the big moment now will be the vote in Parliament. I don't think that there'll be the numbers to get rid of her before that. The ERG always talk a good game, but they never seem to quite manage to deliver. And I think Grant's actually right. The time to get rid of her was a long time before now. It doesn't really make much difference at the moment who the Prime Minister is, because the depth of the shambles and incompetence and fiasco that we're in now, I mean, a Superman or Superwoman couldn't get us out of this mess in the short term. So we've got to focus on the meaningful vote. The deal will be voted down. There aren't the numbers in Parliament for it. The Prime Minister is in denial about that. And what we'll have to do then is look at the options. And one is to send the government back to the negotiating table. The other is to have another referendum. And the other is to crash out with no deal at all. I am absolutely convinced there's no majority to that third option. I think there's a real opportunity to build a cross-party majority now for an European Economic Area-based Brexit, the so-called Norway option. I've been working with a cross-party group of MPs on that, and I think the key point is that the political declaration on the future relationship is very vague and woolly. It's basically a truckload of fudge.
And we only get that in return for £39 billion. So it's a very expensive truckload of fudge.
It is. It's the most expensive fudge in the history of the world. And I think the key point there is to say, look, we need clarity. We need certainty. The only thing we can do now is plug into a well-established, well-understood relationship. That is the European Economic Area. I've always believed the only majority across the House for anything is what I would call a smart Brexit. Which gives us the security and stability we so desperately need. Well,
except, of course, the concern people have about free movement, and that's the one thing that Theresa May says she's actually got from this this deal, which obviously she thinks is the key issue for her. But this is the thing, and I've heard this again from a lot of people, whether Remain or Leave, that it's about what the majority in Parliament will vote for. You know, we haven't got a majority for this, we haven't got a majority for no deal, haven't got a majority for a second ref, etc. But the reality is, it's not about what Parliament wants, is it? Because the whole reason why we had a referendum was because Parliament doesn't represent the British people on this issue. We know its vast majority is Remain and all parties, whereas in fact we've seen that a small majority of people in the country are actually Brexiteers. So why should it be what Parliament can get through when you gave us the decision? You voted to decide for us to make the decision ourselves, and then you voted to endorse that decision. We had that not only the referendum but the election in 2017, and both you and Grant stood on manifestos for your various parties saying that you would enact and implement the Brexit vote. Why on earth does it matter what MPs think? I'm a voter. I don't care what you guys think. I care what the British people think.
I mean, I think that if you look at the 52-48 result, I think there's a compelling argument to say that is the British people saying we want to move house, but we don't want to move house to another country or planet. We want to move house just down the road.
To leave the EU. That's what we wanted to do, was leave the EU.
Leave the EU. And going into the European Economic Area is leaving the EU. Norway is not in the EU.
But it does have free movement. Free movement of people was crucial, wasn't it?
Articles 112 and 113 of the EEA agreement give any EEA country the ability to pull the emergency brake, so to suspend that underpin the single market. It would be our sovereign right as an EEA country to enact that article if we wish to do so. Also, no ECJ jurisdiction. It has its own court. you have the EEA Joint Committee and various other agencies and technical groups where we would have a lot of influence. I mean, I try not to call it the Norway option because we're not Norway. We would give the EFTA group of countries a completely different complexion, and we would be a strong voice for an outer ring of countries that don't want to be in the euro, don't want the deeper political integration, but want a strong relationship with the single market.
I mean, I can certainly agree with you, Stephen, that it sounds a lot better than what we've got on the table and what we've got now. What about for you?